Oh boy, it's time to feel sentimental about a piece of plastic. It's kind of weird also that this happened today because the other major thing that happened today is this other thing I'm still freaking out about, and that's this. Like, and the thing about Final Fantasy 16 real quick that it still is driving me fucking bunkers. It's gonna be made by Yoshida P. I don't know what his last name is. I know a lot of people refer to him as Yoshi P. But USCP is like, I don't. Is he producing it? I think that's what he is. He's producing it. And then the same person who did the combat director, is that correct? Basically, one of the people from Devil May Cry is also working on this. So sucks that it's not a turn-based game, but holy shit, it's actually going to be a good action game. Unlike Final Fantasy 15. Oh god. Oh, excuse me. I forgot to do something. Anyways, this right here is the Nintendo 3DS. Well, this one's a new Nintendo 3DS XL. Um, goddamn, it feels so weird that they're done with these now in a lot of ways because I know, especially like a few years ago, and I still feel like this to a degree. I'm very glad that this is the 3DS is finally a 60 direction because that just means they can just focus fully on the Switch, which honestly they're probably doing starting in 2019 anyways. Like I think 2018 was the last time we really saw like 3DS games because I think they were. I don't know. I feel like at one point they were still thinking that maybe the Switch was kind of a gamble because the Wii U did flop badly. Like that is something here. I'm gonna turn off my monitor here so there's no glare here. Well, not like an awkward one. But they probably felt that maybe the Switch might be a gamble as well. Which, you know what, it could have been. I don't think it was, especially when it first was shown off, because it's such a revolutionary concept that still blows my mind. I just, it's crazy that at one point this blew my mind. Now this is blowing my mind even more. Like, not as much anymore, because obviously I'm used to it. Like, once it becomes normalized, it's not crazy anymore. But it's so weird because I remember when the 3DS was first announced, this was like your first look at handheld gaming with like PS2 graphics, basically. And I know this is like a big deal nowadays, but like when you go from like the DS, which is basically the N64 of like handhelds, to this, it is such a huge leap. And I know when this first came out, because I got it near release. I don't think it was within the first year. It was definitely no. I want to say I got this a few months because I got it before. I got this before Ocarina of Time came out because I know that wasn't a launch. That was supposed to be a launch game. Which honestly, if they launched with Ocarina of Time 3DS, I think this would have sold better at first. Because I know when this first came out, oh god, they were not selling well. And this is why this exists. Remember this? Do you even remember this? No one remembers this. Um, we'll talk about that more in a second. But I still remember like seeing like the UI and everything. There was a channel that was owned by somebody called New 3DS. I would watch that all the time. That guy. I don't know what happened to that dude because I remember like I think like a few months ago I was thinking about that channel, and I went to go check it back, and that guy doesn't even do like Nintendo news anymore. Because there was for a while, he started to do like the Wii U news, which was actually really cool. But then like he just vanished. He's gone. I don't even know where he is. I don't even know what he's doing. But that dude was always really cool. He had like I think he was like some Australian guy. I just remember he was always wearing like a beanie in every episode. He had like not like messy hair, but it was very curly hair, and his channel was called like the new 3DS. No, it was just called 3DS, Nintendo 3DS. To the point, I remember he did like a video where he was like, I think it was like a Q&A video where he mentioned that Nintendo actually did try to contact him to get his channel because like literally it's just called Nintendo 3DS and he took it before Nintendo had the chance to. But no, he didn't give it up, and that channel still exists to this day, and it's still called that. And it's so weird because like the icon to the channel, I don't know about anymore, but I know it used to be like his like a selfie of him. It's just like the craziest fucking thing. But God, this thing has I have so many memories with this thing. A lot of my favorite games are 3DS games, which is so weird because I find it so hard to go back to this thing. Like it sounds really weird. I find it a lot easier to go back to my DS, but to be fair, I have a modded DS so I can play stuff on my computer at higher resolutions. Where this is like I have to deal with it, and I like the 3D effects and some stuff. I don't use it as often. I think the only time I really used it was in Kid Icarus Uprising. And I remember one time I first used it in Ocarina of Time 3D. I never noticed it except when you were diving in that game. When you dive in that game with a 3D, I don't know why it looks so gorgeous. And I remember thinking that was like the craziest thing. This game, I mean, like also Bravely Default. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sad if Bravely Default ever gets like a port or something. It's not gonna have that pop out book look. Because if you use 3D with Bravely Default, oh my god, it is an experience. It is a treat. I don't know if second also had 3D as well. Because I know there is a point where Nintendo was like, well, the gimmick's not selling. People are buying it because of the game, so they cut the gimmick out, which is why the new 2DS exists and the 2DS, which is sad. And I think those are the only ones you can get right now, if at all, which sucks because I want a new 3DS, but the problem because this one's kind of like old to the point where it's kind of dying, and I would like one that's can load better and whatnot. It's to the point where this one is so old. I have Smash 3DS downloaded on this, and for some reason it does not. It barely works. It's weird. I've re-downloaded multiple times. I've tried a lot of different things. I'm just to the point where I'm just like I think it's just the console itself or something. I don't know. But God, I had so many memories with this game. But why did I say game? I meant system. But this is also cool though, because I remember when they cut the 3DS's cost in half, which didn't affect me at first because I was like, well, I already have one. But it was cool because now like I knew a lot of people who started to get one after that. But they gave the ambassador stuff to people. I remember thinking this was the coolest shit because you got like free games with it. And at first the free games were really fucking whatever. It was just like NES games, but then eventually we got a lot of Game Boy games on here. Like Game Boy Advance games, I should say, which never got released ever, which is really dumb. Like I still think that's one of my biggest gripes with this that we never got a Game Boy Advance Virtual Console. I know a lot of people feel that way too, but I'm sort of echoing that. I also re-downloaded the ambassador thing. I've never actually seen it before until this. It's just a little stupid thing. Like, oh, there it is. It's your certificate. It's proof that you are a true 3DS owner, and if you do not have this, you were a fake fan. Also, I like how my time is off by an hour because I didn't I didn't fix that. I don't think I will because it fucks with your Pokemon games. But yeah, this is my background is like I loved these themes so much. I'm so angry that this has themes, but the Nintendo Switch doesn't. Like, and they did really well with these themes, and they could have been like easy cash grabs, and some of them are. But like this Pokemon Hanafuda one, always one of my favorites. It just looks so pretty. There's a really nice Xenoblade one, or I think it's just like the title screen, Xenoblade One, but like 3D. And then there's like one that's based off of the Xenoblade menus, which is really cool. There's a lot of good ones. I still have this because I was transferring my stuff over to this. God, it's gonna be so weird to think about at one point that only generations 3 through 5 will be able to connect to each other, and then you won't be able to connect from 5 onward because I mean, eventually they're gonna cut the online to 3DS. Like that's just an inevitability. Like the fact that this thing still has online and you can still buy and download games. That's gonna not be a thing for much longer, which is kind of scary. But that's just how things are. Like, look at all these games. I didn't download a lot of games. Most of my 3DS games were I got them physically. I don't know what this is. I think this is like a folder. Yeah, for like all the duplicate system icons. Because for some reason, It's really dumb. But you can get like these like special ones from the Badge Arcade, which mine doesn't work anymore. I don't even know if this is still a thing, if it still actually is an app you can use, because I've tried to boot it up a few times, and it tells me that my SD card is like not working right or whatever, which is really weird. So I don't know if like Badge Arcade is a discontinued thing or not. Also, what's really cool is that these things spin. These icons, they spin based on sound. Um, which I always thought was cool. I also have Color 3D on here. I never actually use this. I know a lot of fucking people who actually do art just with this, which is crazy. At least I used to. I don't see it as much anymore. I know they're making a new colors for the Nintendo Switch. I know it was kickstarted. I'm really excited for that. I will probably won't get it, or if I do get it, it would probably be like way later. But I'm glad that this exists. Um, God, there's so many games. It's crazy because I only have a Alpha Sapphire in here, but I only had it in here because I was like checking what I did, like what Pokemon I had on there to transfer upwards. But like, I have, oh god, they're falling off. I have a lot of 3DS. I'm not, okay. I'm not. I was gonna like pour them all out and be dramatic, but like I would take a bitch forever to clean because I have this um Club Nintendo Mario. I think it's a satchel. I looked up the definition for satchel. It doesn't sound like it would be. It's a little like it's not a coin purse either, but it's a little pouch. I like it. It's neat. Like you can reverse it as well. There's like another pattern inside, but I did that like once. But I found the problem was when I did that, it didn't look great. I'm so glad I own this because like this is a weird collector's item that I got a lot of use out of. So I'm very glad. Like this is like once I got this, I knew this is where I was gonna put all my DS games in the future because it's just like it's like a coin bag, except like you open it up and you're gonna pour out the coins. They're just fucking these cartridges, which kind of can go more than a coin at times. Like, oh baby, I can't wait to exchange Fantasy Life for money. God, I hate this game. Fantasy Life is like the most repetitive garbage bullshit. Like it's fun at first, but I hated how repetitive that was. And it's weird because I was addicted to this game for like a hot moment, but it's garbage. I don't like it. I don't like it. What was the game that fell on the floor? I gotta go see that now. It was Radiant Historia, which is really weird that this fucking game got a re-release on 3DS, which I am in awe by. I wish it was on Switch, but God, out of all the games to re-release, they released this fucking niche DS game, a really good niche DS game, but still. Also, this game got a remake, which still surprises me. Those are both DS games though. They're not Fantasy Life. I don't know. I'm just pulling stuff out. God, there's a lot of. I own a lot of 3DS games. Like I don't. I can't like. Let me see if I can shake this. Like there's a lot of cartridges in there. I know most of them are DS games to be fair, but there are also a lot of DS games. Like God, I remember when Pokemon X came out. I still think that this was like one of the coolest fucking games to come out at the time when it did, because it's just like a gritty handheld Pokemon game. That blew my fucking mind. That still blows my mind. I was like, what was this, 2012? Or was it 2011? I know it was before 2013, or was this 2013? I don't actually remember anymore. I'm getting so old. And I think that's kind of half the reason why this is hitting me as hard as it is, because like I've had a 3DS growing up during my teenage years, and it's kind of weird now that I'm like 25 and this is gone. Well, not literally, because I'm holding it right here and whatnot, but like in the sense of they're no longer making these. Like this is the last one I'm gonna own, probably. I want to buy another one eventually. Like I would like to buy another new 3DS because this one, like, I don't know if I said that earlier or not. This one's kind of like old and it doesn't run as well. But I lost my chance, sadly. But hopefully I'll find something through eBay or whatever later. Because I'd like to own another one of these. This is also the third 3DS I own. I sadly the only one, actually technically fourth DS 3DS I own, because I got the original charcoal black one back when that released. It was a gift while I was in high school. Um, was I in high school? Yeah, I was in high school. That or I just started high school. I don't remember. Then after that, I got the because I wasn't gonna get one, but I got a 3DS XL. I got the Pokemon themed one. I remember thinking that was one of the coolest fucking things. I love the big screen. It was great. And then eventually, this is the final 3DS I own, which is the Majora's Mask one. I even have a theme that matches this one. God, this one has seen better days. Like this has battle damage on it. I don't even know like how I got this stuff on it. It just aged. Like this thing fucking aged. I don't even know how. Oh, that's really cute. When you open any of the Pokemon things, it makes a Pokemon. It makes the healing sound effect from when you're in a Pokemon Center. But yeah, so this is my third one. I have a fourth one. Like actually, I got in between this one and the XL. And that is a 2DS, which I have stored away somewhere. Basically, I went to go buy one off of Katsu Kitty because I was investing in a 3DS capture card or a modded 2DS with a capture board in it. Still to this day, it does not work. I feel extremely ripped off, and I'm very glad they're out of business. I've heard their boards are faulty, anyways, like from people who have bought from them. But I'm so angry that I own it because it's literally the most useless thing, and it's been catching dust. I don't want to sell it because it's like it's so weird. I don't know how you can sell something like that. I mean, I guess it's still it works as a 2DS technically, but the capture bar does not work in it at all, and I don't know why. And it's weird because I sent it back to Katsukity a few times actually, because when I first got it, it wasn't working. I sent it back to them. It still wasn't working. They told me a bunch of stupid stuff like, "Oh, is it plugged in correctly? Is it like in a USB 3.0 or whatever, the blue USB?" And it was. I remember when I got my first actual computer, like when I was no longer on a laptop. I thought, oh, maybe that will be the issue because it was a gaming computer. Albeit it was a older gaming computer, but didn't work on that. And now I have like a modern gaming computer. It doesn't work on this either. So it was definitely a them thing. Because I did all the drivers and everything. It's a pain in the ass. But yeah, still own it. Still works. Just never use it. It's kind of weird too because I actually kind of like how the normal 2DS feels. Like I know it's a very bricky system. Like it looks like it would be very uncomfortable, but like it's very form factor in a weird way. Like if you have bigger hands, that a normal 2DS will feel fine, in my opinion at least. God, I'm still thinking about when Vine was a thing. God, remember Vine? Now there's TikTok, and they tried to make Vine 2, which was Byte, but I don't think Byte ever took off. And I think one of the reasons, at least for me personally, is you can't share bytes. You can only really re-download them, and I don't like that at all. But that's a different topic. Topic I don't really have a lot of things to say about, so I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm trying to find the most flagship 3DS game for me. And where is it? Also, this is a game where Metroid. What is this? Not other M. Goddamn, this is weird. Samus Returns is my guilty purchase of. I wanted to buy a Metroid game to support Metroid, and to show Nintendo that hey, people will buy this. Hell, I will buy it. But then like I got lost and I never played it. And as a matter of fact, I played it as far as I got in like even another Metroid 2 remake, which I think it's like certain as AMR2. I don't remember how that was short. I remember like hearing that, and I know it was short for another Metroid 2 remake, but I always thought it sounded so cool because it sounded like the planet that Metroid 2 takes place on. It's not exactly, but it sounds like it, and I always thought that was cool. Here I was like, oh, I'm not gonna take out all the fucking games out of here, but I am anyways. Oh, Xenoblade 3DS. A game I bought immediately because I had a big fear in my heart that this would be sold out and become like the new Xenoblade. As in, like, because when Xenoblade 1 was first released, it was released limitedly through GameStop, and goddamn, it was a bitch to find. And because of that, it also went up a lot. Like, GameStop was reselling used copies for $80 to $100. It was ridiculous. A game you should not go for that much. It's kind of stupid. What else do we have here? A game I've never played, which is Crystal Chronicles: Rings of Fate. I like the box art for this game a lot, but I don't actually. I've never really played the game outside of like a few minutes of it. I'm not a big fan of like normal Crystal Chronicles. It's not bad. It's just not for me. What else do we have here? Spectros. I'm looking for a certain game, not either of them. Come on, we're gonna find it. People who know me know I will obsess over this fucking game. If I can ever find it. Oh god, look at this fucking pile over here. Let's add more to it. Wait, Pokemon. Did I just draw Pokemon White? Because I swear that was in the pile before. Or was it this that I drew? No, it wasn't. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I'm going senile. Oh god. Well, that's everything that was in the bag there. Also, you can see my fucking Arizona. Remember the earlier part of this video where I said I wouldn't pour all the 3DS games out, and I did anyways? We're here. Also, lighting might look different. I decided to keep my monitor on, and I did like this really stupid thing where I opened up like MS Paint. Not MS Paint. This is Paint.net, which is basically a really free, cheap version of what is it? Photoshop. And, like, this is really cheap. Like, if you're gonna like edit photos with it, it works. I only really use it to crop stuff, but I made like I zoomed in and I made this like a tint of yellow, so like we have better lighting here. Because I was realized when I was doing this, it kind of looked like it was a little dark, and we need something. And I don't have a professional shut up here. This is just me at my desk. But the flagship 3DS game for me, game I have the most memories with. Holy shit, Bravely Default is like the game I would not stop talking about for years. I still think that this game has left a stupid big impact in my life, and I still love Bravely Second as well. Um, these two games are hard for me to replay for a lot of stupid reasons, but I still love and cherish the hell out of them. I hate how they have like generic black backgrounds, but God, I remember when mine was still a thing. I poured out all of my games, and then I gently put Bravely Default on top of it. I don't know if I still have that mine, but it was like a shitpost at myself because a lot of people at the time knew that this was the only fucking thing I would talk about. So I was like, yo, yeah, here's all my 3DS games, and Bravely Default. Like I even made a spiritual sequel to that vine where I jokingly it looks like I'm about to pick up Other M and say it's my favorite game of all time, but then I fucking throw Other M out. Hey, look, it's my favorite game of all time. Bravely Default. And it's the collector's edition of Bravely Default. I think that was one of my one of my funniest minds I ever made. If I ever will find it, I'm going to re-upload it to this channel because I think that bind is a classic. Um, but yeah, this game. Oh god, this is like everything I wanted out of a game for the longest goddamn time. Oh, my 3DS is gonna die. Remember how these things have the shittiest battery life? I mean, well, I guess the Wii U gamepad has the worst battery life, but yeah. But goddamn, I remember following this game for a long time, for the longest time, like even before it was released, because I had 4 Years of Light, which is somewhere in this mess. Somewhere. I will find it eventually, I swear. Oh, here it is. 4 Years of Light, which is the prequel to Bravely Default. Well, spiritual prequel, not story prequel. Sadly, those two games are not connected. though a lot of elements from Four Heroes of Light do appear in Bravely Default. But I remember hearing about Four Heroes of Light back in the day and being excited because, oh, it's a Final Fantasy game that's multiplayer. Guess what thing I never fucking did in this? Yeah, the multiplayer in this game is hot garbage. Like, don't play a turn-based fucking RPG for the multiplayer. But you remember when it like does the blinking thing when it's about to die too? Remember that? I always thought that was so weird because I know it's really about to die. Like that thing goes like berserk. Oh, it's doing it there. Oh my god, it's kind of funny. I mentioned that. God, this is so stupid because I'm getting really sidetracked off of really dumb things. Anyways, but Bravely, where is the light? I remember thinking that this game looked really neat, and it is probably one of the hardest video games I've. Okay, not one of the hardest video games, but this game is hard. It doesn't seem like that hard, but there is a definite difficulty spike in this game that is kind of obscene. It's also like Final Fantasy VIII, where after a certain point, enemies will scale to your level, and also bosses do as well. So leveling up was more of a hindrance than an actual thing you would want to do. But yeah, I guess one of the hardest games I've ever played is a little bit of an overstatement. I think it is really hard, but I wouldn't say that. I don't know. Matter of fact, I'm really backpedaling on that statement a lot, but I just don't want to underestimate that this game is a hard game. But a lot of the difficulty with this game has to do with a lot of data mechanics. I wanted to actually do a video essay on this game a long ass time ago. Like um, I started a new file in this game for the third time, and I wanted to do a video essay on it about my thoughts on it, but never came to be. I recorded footage for the first, I want to say like 2 hours for it. And I even wrote a script. Yeah, I think I wrote the first 3 pages of a script. Nothing came out of it. Just like every video essay I've ever planned. But yeah, that game was very exciting. So when I see Bravely Default has elements from it, and then I hear it's probably going to be Japan exclusive, I'm sad. Then I found out that this game finally came out, but this isn't Bravely Default. This is Bravely Default for the sequel. Bravely Default, the original, we never got. It was a Japan exclusive game, which I'm kind of glad with because for the sequel added a lot of quality of life that I could not think. I can't think of Bravely Default without its quality of life. I think that's one of the reasons why this is a very good RPG to play, especially if you hate grinding in RPGs, especially if you hate how turn-based RPGs can be too slow. Like you can speed up battles, you can turn the encounter rate off at any time too. And then you can also increase it, which sounds really, really weird, but it can also be nice if you want a challenge, if you want something that feels more like a classic RPG, like really classic. I'm talking about like stupid encounter rate class. Or and the main reason why I liked it was for level grinding, because instead of waiting to get into another battle, you can get into it faster. Something that Ridley Second does actually really well is that it has a thing in the combat where if you beat an enemy squad, or if you beat a group of enemies on your first turn, you can actually you can do another encounter right there and then, which I really think is one of the coolest fucking things about this game. More turn-based RPGs, I wish they did. I just, it saves the monotony of grinding. And you can just grind at your own pace if you need to grind. Because I really don't think you need to grind in this. I definitely don't think you need to grind in this. Like, this game can be hard without grinding, but I'm very glad that you don't need to. And if you do need to, it's not a mess. I've been talking about the 3DS for a half hour now. That is so fucking crazy. I haven't even talked about everything. I have so many stupid memories with this goddamn thing. I was even gonna look into, you know what, let's do that right now. I was gonna look into the activity log. Yeah, let's go do that. I think I'll make that a separate video actually, because this one has gone on for almost a half an hour. Oh, Jesus Christ.